guys, what is up? It's Legion of Gaming here, and we are back today starting a new Let's Play on the channel of Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. And again, just as with our Mass Effect 1 Let's Play, we will be doing this on Insanity difficulty. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into our importing the character. We'll be doing John Shepard, which is the one that we just did with our Mass Effect 1 playthrough. Now there is a pretty lengthy opening cutscene that I will go ahead and let it get through before we go and actually talk about everything. As you can see here, again, Insanity difficulty, don't do squad, auto level up. You can still leave the squad usage on if you want, but I just prefer to, when playing on Insanity, take it off so that way I can control them a little bit better. Because if you remember in the last game, a lot of times the abilities would bug out. In this game, that's not so much an issue. The actual advantage you have of you controlling the abilities is that your abilities get fired off, so there's like a delay before it has effect, whereas with your squad mates, their stuff is instant. As soon as you hit it, it hits. As soon as you activate the ability and use it, it immediately does the damage to the enemy, so you can really kind of min-max it if you're trying to have maximum effectiveness on stuff like that. This goes ahead and just recaps all of our stuff here, and there is, if you did Legendary Edition, the comic that you can do that will kind of give you a brief recap as well. But it just shows our name, specialization, that sort of stuff. Then you know that we saved Rooks, that Caden is the one who died on Vermeer, that we saved the council, and that Anderson got the council seat. But this is pretty widely, I think, if you were to ask most Mass Effect fans their favorite game out of the 1, 2, and 3, because obviously nobody likes Andromeda.
Shepard did everything right. More than we could have hoped for.
Commander Shepard uncovered the truth.
And still, it's not enough.
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack.
But they're sending him to fight Geth. Geth. We both know they're not the real threat. The Reapers are still out there.
And it's up to us to stop them.
The Council will never trust Cerberus. They'll never accept our help, even after everything humanity has accomplished. But Shepard, they'll follow him. He's a hero, a bloody icon. But he's just one man. If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
Then see to it that we don't lose him.
1 month after the devastating Geth attack on the Citadel, the galactic community struggles to rebuild. An Alliance fleet made a tremendous sacrifice to save Citadel Council earned humanity membership to the prestigious group, and now the Council is forced to respond to the evidence of the Reapers' enormous machines eradicating organic civilization every 50,000 years have returned, and basically they sent Shepard out into the boondocks, so that way he couldn't be like, well yeah guys, that's real. Remember in the last episode when I was telling you guys to pay attention to what the council says at the end of the game? That's wise, because basically immediately after the game they just go into complete denial mode of literally everything that happened.
Emission sinks active. Board is green. We are running silent.
We're wasting our time. 4 days searching up and down this sector, and we haven't found any sign of Geth activity.
3 ships went missing here in the past month. Something happened to them.
My money's on slavers. The Terminus system is crawling with them.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner. Unidentified vessel. Looks like a cruiser.
Doesn't match any known signatures.
Cruiser is changing course. Now on intercept trajectory.
Can't be. Stealth systems are engaged. There's no way a Geth ship could possibly...
It's not the Geth. Brace for evasive maneuvers!
Press closely!
Kinetic barriers down.
Multiple hull breaches!
Weapons offline. Somebody get that fire out.
Shepard!
Distress beacon is ready for launch.
Will the Alliance get here in time?
They'll be here.
The Alliance won't abandon us. We just need to hold on. Get everyone onto the escape shuttle.
Joker's still in the cockpit. He won't evacuate. I'm not leaving either.
There's no time to argue.
I need you to get the crew onto the evac shuttles. I'll take care of Joker.
Shepard!
Liara, go. Now.
Aye, aye.
And this episode probably will be kinda long because of the opening cutscenes, and I'm gonna try to get through everything on the first mission before we end this one, and there's
Everybody
a fair
in!
bit of dialogue.
Go, go, go!
So they want you to think that you're kind of on a timer here, but really you can kind of walk around and do whatever you want, but none of the doors will open or anything like that, in case you're hoping that you can maybe, you know, explore like the med bay and stuff like that, just to kind of like see them one last time. But then if you try to go up that way, you see that that's all busted up. So you gotta go up this way.
Hold together.
And then got a pretty sick view here, in all honesty. But anyways, that's not what we're here for. We're here to rescue our best bro, aside from, of course, Rex and Garrus, Joker here.
Come on, Joker. We have to get out of here.
No, I won't abandon the Normandy. I can still save her.
Don't throw your life away, Joker.
The Normandy's lost. Going down with the ship won't change that.
Yeah, okay. Help me up. They're coming around for another attack. Watch the arm! Commander! Shepard!
Now, I remember my first time seeing this whole opening sequence. I was literally so shook, because this was actually the first game that I played. I didn't even play Mass Effect 1 before I played Mass Effect 2. So I saw this and was like, what the heck is this? How you gonna go and kill the main character in the very first part of the, opening cutscene? It was like the biggest shock ever to me, but obviously I stuck with it because now we're here on YouTube making Let's Plays about Mass Effect, but that was just a very unexpected twist to me, having never played through Mass Effect before for the first time when I saw this. But this is the comic I was kind of telling you about, so like, really, if you don't necessarily want to go and grind out all of ME1, you're not going to be able to get all the like unique character interactions and things like that. You will still get some of them if you choose to not do the Mass Effect 1 playthrough and just do the Mass Effect Genesis comic here. So I'll kind of share that off to you guys, and it's really just lets you decide all the decisions that they had there on your import save screen.
Just another routine mission. Why do they always say that before a mission? Of course it's routine. You haven't done anything yet. It's everything that happens along the way. The choices you make, the paths you choose, that turn the routine into anything but. Of course, that's how it started. A routine mission, answering a distress call. And look where that got me. We were testing out the Normandy, Captain Anderson's new ship, when the distress call came in. An Alliance patrol on Eden Prime had been attacked. They'd seen something they couldn't explain. And whatever it was massive. I hit the ground with my lieutenant, Caden Olenko. A good kid, loyal, by the book, with a talent for biotics. We came across the lone survivor of the patrol, Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams. A soldier to the core. Tough, disciplined, ready to take on whatever came her way. Ashley joined up with us and took us to the spot where she lost her squad. That's when we saw it. The ship. Like nothing I'd ever seen. It was massive, scorching the colony and everything around it as it blasted away. We followed the path of destruction to an artifact, a beacon left by a long-dead race called the Protheans. The colony had dug it up, and whoever attacked them had tried to take it. Chief Williams made the mistake of getting too close. It hit her with some type of energy. I grabbed her and threw her out of the way. That's when it hit me. Hard. Every muscle in my body went rigid. I couldn't move, could barely breathe. Everything went black. And then I saw something. A vision. Dream. A nightmare. By the time I woke up, we were halfway to the Citadel on our way to meet the Council. I was expected to explain what I'd seen. Anderson came along. So did Adina, our political representative on the Citadel. With those two heavyweights, it seemed reasonable we could persuade the Council that the ship we'd seen was a potential threat, as was the individual behind the attacks. The main suspect for the Eden Prime massacre was a Turian Spectre named Saren. He'd been seen by one of the survivors from the colony at Eden Prime, and there was some evidence to suggest that the ship was connected to Saren. But even Adina's pointed accusations weren't enough to convince the Council. They just couldn't believe one of their chosen elite Spectres could be guilty of something like that. They needed proof, which meant I needed proof. Fortunately, I wasn't alone in my search. Garrus, another Turian, wanted to help. A top agent for Citadel Security. Despite orders from his superiors that he shouldn't get involved, he told me he was suspicious of Saren, and he had some useful leads. More importantly, he was willing to share them. That led me to Rex, the biggest, nastiest-looking Krogan bounty hunter I'd ever seen. He turned out to be more than just a brute. It was his intel that led to a fugitive with incriminating evidence on Saren. The fugitive turned out to be an energetic little Quarian named Tali. A tech expert with a knack for hacking, she'd procured some information on Saren. Evidence that proved Saren was dirty. Tali's evidence proved that Saren was responsible for the massacre on Eden Prime, and that the immense warship we'd spotted was in fact Saren's flagship. But it went much further. Saren was trying to find a way to bring back a race of sentient machines from dark space. Machines allegedly responsible for cleansing the galaxy of all organic life. These Reapers were blamed for wiping out all life 50,000 years ago, including the Protheans, then disappearing back through the mass relays to dark space, leaving no trace they'd ever been. That explained why Saren was after the beacon, and it made some sense out of my visions. But not much else. We couldn't convince the Council that the Reapers were a threat, but they agreed Saren had to be stopped. They stripped him of his Spectre status and gave me the honor of becoming the first human Spectre. My first task? Bring down Saren. Anderson decided to stay behind, giving up his ship, the Normandy. He told me I would need it more than he would. He also pointed me in a direction. Liara, a Prothean expert, adept in biotics, and maybe most importantly, daughter of Benezia, Saren's top lieutenant. And like most Asari, as beautiful as she is intelligent, and born with a unique ability to meld with other species. Liara was able to help me decipher some of the vision the beacon had given me. Nothing concrete, but it gave me some clues. And a new appreciation for the Asari. Her technique for accessing my vision was unexpected, but not at all unpleasant. Ashley was a little concerned about the connection I shared with Liara. As commander, I knew either relationship had the potential to interfere with the mission. I told Liara about how I felt. Apparently, she'd felt it too. But we agreed we wouldn't let it get in the way of our mission. Finding Saren. Thanks to Liara's help, we had our next lead. Benezia. Saren had taken her to Novaria, where he'd enslaved a dangerous race of insect-like creatures, the Rachni. He ordered Benezia to use the same technique Liara had used on me to extract information from the Rachni Queen. The Queen's drones were everywhere, and they weren't happy. We had to fight through hundreds of them to get to Benezia. By the time we arrived, Saren was gone. With the information. I tried to reason with Benezia, but Saren had indoctrinated her. He had somehow acquired the ability to control people's actions and wills. Benezia wouldn't surrender, and Liara was forced to watch her mother die in her arms. And I was left with an angry, dangerous Rachni Queen to deal with. She claimed her drones would do no harm if I released her. But the Rachni had terrorized the galaxy before. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't doom an entire species for past sins. And the Queen was true to her word. She left and took her army of drones with her. With Saren's top lieutenant dead, he was quickly running out of time and places to hide. I tracked him down at his base on Vermeer, but we soon learned it was more than a base of operations. It was a breeding ground. Saren was breeding an army of Krogan. He'd found a cure for the genophage, a disease inflicted on the Krogan to prevent them from breeding and taking over the galaxy. But the Krogan Saren was breeding were slaves, mindless beasts that obeyed Saren's will. I had to destroy the base, and all its research. Rex disagreed. Violently. Rex wanted the genophage cure for his people. I tried to convince him to help me destroy it, that these Krogan weren't real. But he wouldn't back down. Fortunately, Rex is smarter than he looks. He realized this wasn't the way to help his people, and that Saren was the real threat. When we finally got to the center of the base, I realized just how close Saren was to completing his plan. He was already in communication with the Reapers. Sovereign, Saren's flagship we'd all assumed was just a ship, was a Reaper. It spoke to me, threatened me. I could feel the menace it had for every living thing. It wanted me dead. It wanted us all dead. And I knew it was capable of doing just that. What I couldn't understand was why Saren would help it. But there was no time to think about it. Sovereign knew where we were. We had to destroy the base and get the hell out. I split up my team in 2 squads, sending Ash with one and Caden with the other as a distraction. We had a nuke, and we planned to use it. Before we could detonate the bomb, Saren showed up. We fought. I stalled him to make time for my team. And in talking to him, I realized the truth. It wasn't Saren who was indoctrinating everyone. It was Sovereign. The Reaper. And Saren was in deeper than all of them. He tried to convince me he was still in control. Said he found a way to reduce the Reaper's influence, but he was kidding himself. Or believing the lies Sovereign was telling him. Before I could convince him to stop, he ran, leaving me just seconds to extract my squad mates. I tried, but I wasn't fast enough. I could only save one of them. Caden was a good man, and a great soldier. But I had to choose, and I chose Ash. That was the last time Saren would slip away from me. I knew then, the next time we met, one of us would die. With my team mostly intact, we chased Saren and his army to Ilos, a long-lost planet that had once belonged to the Protheans. As we prepared for what we knew would be a desperate fight, I spoke to my crew. We were just one ship, against Saren's growing army. I assured them all that despite the odds, we could defeat him. Liara saw through my words. She knew I was hurting after Caden's death. She could sense my doubts. We both knew this mission could be our last. Until that moment, we'd put our feelings aside for the sake of that mission. But why wait? We gave in to each other, and it was perfect. While it lasted. We arrived on Ilos, close behind Saren. Once on the planet, we discovered a Prothean databank that helped me put the final pieces of my vision together. The Reapers had come 50,000 years ago, and every 50,000 years before that, each time purging the galaxy of life. The Protheans had fought and died, like every species before them. But a few survived long enough to leave a parting gift. The Protheans had discovered that the Citadel was the key to controlling the mass relays. By sabotaging the Citadel, they found a way to close the relays to dark space, slowing the Reapers' return, giving us the time we needed to find a solution to stop the Reapers once and for all. Saren knew this. He was leading his army to take control of the Citadel and re-establish the relays to dark space, bringing the waiting Reapers here to destroy us all. We followed him to the Citadel. It was intact, but heavily damaged. He had caught the Council fleets by surprise, and they were only now regrouping. And with Sovereign as his flagship, there was little hope the fleets could counterattack with enough strength to take back the Citadel. But Saren was done running, and I was done chasing him. As the Alliance and Citadel fleets battled Saren's army outside, I cornered the Turian bastard in the Citadel tower and confronted him. He died believing that the Reapers would save him. As I fought to regain control of the Citadel, the Council's flagship, the Destiny Ascension, fell under attack. Despite Saren's death, Sovereign and Saren's army continued to fight. The Council was aboard the Destiny Ascension, and they were requesting assistance. But I knew in order to help them, I would have to put our human Alliance fleet in jeopardy. The Council had to be saved. They represented the hearts and minds of the galactic community. Without them, the fleets would be in disarray. Even with the Citadel back in my control, Saren defeated, and the Normandy leading the combined galactic fleet, the battle against Sovereign, a single Reaper, was relentless. It took the combined fleets of humanity and the other races, but in the end, Sovereign fell. But the costs were immense. While humanity's efforts in the war earned us our first seat on the Council, it was a hollow victory. The Reapers were still out there. I knew the fight was far from over, but as the one who'd led the fight against Saren, I was given new responsibilities. The choice of humanity's first counselor was left for me to decide. On the one hand, Adina, the lifetime politician. Ruthless and ambitious, he would easily navigate the political landmines that would soon be put in front of him. The other choice, Captain Anderson, the career soldier. Tough but fair, but a friend, and someone I could trust. Both great leaders in their own right. Anderson didn't want the job, which was a sure sign he'd be perfect for it. No ambition to get in the way. The war was over. The threat had passed. In time, the Council would rebuild itself. The Citadel could be repaired. Even the pain of lost friends would fade. But none of that mattered if the Reapers were still out there. And if they were all as powerful as Sovereign, we had to find a way to stop them. I had to find a way. I gathered my crew, took my ship, and went in search of answers. Officially, the Council would only say I was assigned to cleanup duty, rooting out any remnants of Saren's army. Just another routine mission.
So if you didn't import your save, then you'll have the option to make decisions there and stuff like that. But since we imported our save, that's why I just did the straight through narration version, narrated by Shepard, of
has
course.
been recovered. The Lazarus project will proceed as planned.
then remember I told you guys that as you continue to go through the games, you'll be able to change your class or personality. Yeah. Or sorry, not personality, just your specialization to whatever you want it to be, and pick new powers as you see fit on the other one. So if you did your playthrough and you're like, oh well, this other class seemed really cool, but the class system is a little bit different in this one. So you can also change up your appearance. We're still going to be, rolling with our imported appearance. And so then, as you can see here, you've got power training, weapons training, and ammo training, which obviously we had that big whole huge, set of skills that we could do in ME1, right? Well, in this one, it is a lot more simplified. You still get to do your extra skill, but each class only has certain weapons they can use. So, like, if you're gonna do just maximum challenge on Insanity, I recommend doing the Vanguard because it's shotgun, heavy pistol, and submachine gun. Now, in this game, unlike in ME1, you can't just equip the weapons anyway. You actually have to have training in the weapons to be able to use those. The Sentinel is one of my favorites, but we did Infiltrator there, so we're gonna stick with Infiltrator. But as you can see, it changes up each thing, whichever abilities you're gonna have. I would say that, like, the most secret OP is probably the Engineer, just because you have Overload and Incinerate and Hacking and the Combat Drone, so you just have so much that you're just really well balanced all around. Kind of the same with the Infiltrator, where you have Tactical Cloak, so if you need to get close to someone you can, if you need to just disengage and drop aggro you can. So we're gonna stick with that. And then for our bonus power on this one, it's a little bit different. Obviously you can see there's no singularity here, right? So my personal recommendations are, if you want, you can pick a kind of ammo. You can do Neural Shock or Reeve if you want. My personal favorite is always to do Energy Drain, because it just takes shields and gives them back to you from the enemy. I always think about doing Barrier and Fortification, but it's kind of like temporary boost, so you only get it for 60 seconds. And it's just like extra shields and stuff like that, whereas this is instant. And then you can just see our origin, reputation, and all that stuff there. And now we're gonna go ahead and get the playthrough started.
Something's wrong.
He's reacting to outside stimuli, showing an awareness of his surroundings. My God, Miranda, I think he's waking up.
Damn it, Wilson, he's not ready yet. Give him the sedative. Shepard, don't try to move. Just lie still. Try to stay calm.
Heart rate's still climbing. Brain activity is off the charts. Stats pushing into the red zone. It's not working.
Another dose. Now.
Heart rate dropping. Stats falling back into normal range. I was too close. You almost lost him.
I told you your estimates were off. Run the numbers again.
Wake up, Commander. Shepard, do you hear me? Get out of that bed now. This facility is under attack. Shepard, your scars aren't healed, but I need you to get moving. This facility is under attack. There's a pistol in the locker on the other side of the room. Hurry! Grab the pistol and armor from the locker.
So you can, again, look around over here, and it's not really gonna have anything explorable in here. So you might as well just go on over here. And so as you can see, it's just bringing up all of our stuff. If you have completed the game before, you start off with these lovely resources and a fair chunk of change on credits. then, as I'm sure you remember me saying, the levels that we get go and increase the amount of skills we will start the game off with here, which obviously on Insanity difficulty is going to be very useful for us. So this is kind of the simplified skill tree that you have. You go and have to put points into things just like before, where once you get to like point 2, it will unlock the next ability. And then each rank is either, you know, reducing recoil, the cooldown time, or the duration, that sort of stuff. And then they also introduced this evolution, which they stuck through with until ME3 as well. So what you get to go and kind of pick, hey, do you want more duration or do you want to increase damage bonus? And it kind of can help you choose your play style a little bit more. Also, your class skills, which I don't know if you guys remember when you do the moon mission back in ME1, you get to unlock a class specialization, you know, and it was like Commando, Shock Trooper, whatever it was for your class, because it's different for each one. This is basically that, only you start out with it, and at the end you get to go and select if you want to do the same thing. And it's just prioritizing damage, or if you're going to prioritize, you know, your powers and things like that. But for right now, oh, and then also it ups your Paragon and Renegade scores as well. So like right now you could go all the way up to 3, but it scales proportionately up to the amount of base Paragon that you have. So you actually want to wait as long as possible before you put your points into this, even though it will make it a little bit more challenging, because you're not going to have this sniper slowdown whenever you're using your sniper rifle, but it just makes it a little bit easier, because unlike in Mass Effect 1, you do kind of have to be a little bit more mindful of where your Paragon is at, because there's not obviously a charm skill on this. It's all based off of what your base Paragon score is going to be. But let's see, I'm trying to think. Let's go ahead and we'll do one in Tactical Cloak. We'll do Incinerate. We'll do we'll actually go ahead and we'll do a second point in Incinerate. And then if we want to, we can do AI hacking, and that obviously only works on like Geth and Mechs. Mechs are a new enemy type that's introduced in this game, but we're just going to hold that point for right now. So just walk on over here.
Time to wait around, Shepard. Grab your weapon and armor.
This pistol doesn't have a thermal clip.
It's a med bay. We'll get you a clip from. Keep your head down, Shepard. Shield yourself from the blast. Someone's hacking security trying to kill you. Look for a thermal clip for your pistol.
Right there. And then R to reload. Which,
Looks like
as you can see,
a barricade to try holding the mechs off.
we have all of our stuff up there on the top, like we did in the last game, where you have all your hotkeys for your abilities. And what you will notice is there's no longer an overheat system. It is now based off of ammo.
Look out! Keep moving. We need to get to the shuttles.
Reload. And then, as you can see, there's not really anything for you to go and get over here. Either you're just kind of meant to go through the facility as a little tunnel there.
Shepard,
So now you
security
can
mechs
go
are
ahead
closing in
and
on your position. Take cover.
so you can do this.
Hostiles detected. Subdue and suppress.
So as you can see, it does, the way that it works in this game is that all of your abilities go on cooldown at once. So you do want to be mindful of, hey, what's the best ability that I can be using right now. Quick reload earlier. So as you can see,
Nice work, Shepard. Coast is clear.
if you do the headshots, then it will make them explode afterwards. And then you can also go and shoot their legs off, as you saw me do, to go and make them fall over, and then they will have to crawl. They won't be able to just walk like normal. And then also headshots can go and make them shake.
Don't waste time. I can't keep the mix distracted for long.
So now we have a grenade launcher here.
Here come
So they also introduce heavy weapons
the mix.
in this game, which is like stronger weapons than your
Take the
normal
elevator
ones.
down one floor.
And it's kind of to like help you when you've got tougher enemies
Hurry, get to the door. Run.
to fight and things like that.
Doing fine, Shepard. Head to the next room and I'll try to meet you. Shepard, read me. I've got things closing in on my position.
So now you can kind of explore a little bit. And you can go and access these data
Progress is
logs.
slow, but subject shows signs of recovery. Major organs are again functional, and there are signs of rudimentary neurological activity. In an effort to accelerate the process, we've moved from simple organic reconstruction of the subject to biosynthetic fusion. Initial results show promise.
So you can continue to find those and kind of listen to the progress of all of the Lazarus project and things like that, as well as looking at some of the screens and stuff.
Update. The cost of this project is astronomical. Over 4 billion credits so far. But nobody seems to care that we've gone over budget. I don't know where the boss gets all his money. Maybe it's better not to know. I just wish he'd kick a little more in my direction once in a while.
So, as you can see here, the thing that they're kind of going and they haven't revealed to Shepard yet is that he's actually in a Cerberus facility. We, the player, of course, know that, but Shepard doesn't. And if you guys remember some of those missions that we were doing, so you can go and see all that stuff going on.
Log update. I can't figure Miranda out. As project director, she should be ecstatic at all the progress we've made. But she's still the same old ice queen. Maybe she's worried Shepard might become the new favorite. Or maybe she is just a pure cold-hearted bitch.
Charge him up!
So obviously Wilson and Miranda aren't getting along all that well.
Shepard, what the hell?
Yeah, lost you.
So as you can see, if you're trying to shoot from around the corner, you have to be careful. Otherwise, you'll end up shooting slower.
What are you doing here? Thought you were still a work in progress.
Who are you?
Are you with Miranda?
Yeah, sorry. I forgot this is all new to you right now. I'm Jacob Taylor. I've been stationed here for—
Hostiles detected.
Damn it! Things must be worse than I thought if Miranda's got you running around. I'll fill you in, but we better get you to the shuttle first.
So you can continue to investigate over here if you want. I typically do.
I know this isn't the best time, but I'm sick of stumbling around when I don't know what's going on.
Fair enough. I'll give you the quick version. You and your ship were attacked and destroyed. You were killed. Dead as dead can be when they brought you here. Our scientists spent the last 2 years putting you back together. You've been comatose, or worse, that whole time. Welcome back to your life.
Where is here?
This doesn't look like an Alliance facility.
It isn't. I can't say much more than that for now. The Alliance officially declared you killed in action. The whole galaxy thinks you're dead. And if we don't get to those shuttles, they'll be right.
What about my crew?
Were there any other survivors from the Normandy?
I'll tell you what. You help me finish off these mechs, and I'll play 20 questions with you all day. We're low on thermal clips, but I'm a biotic. Just give the order when you want me to hit them with the good stuff.
Please repeat.
So you saw we got some Paragon there. Free tip, you have to use pull. Until you pull all of them, it's gonna just keep spawning more and more mechs, and you're eventually gonna just run out of ammo. So you can just go ahead and do pull, and it's the same thing as before, where once you have the outline, you're good to go. And then you can tell that they want you to use pull, because they don't put it on cooldown.
They're falling back.
And they are.
I promised I'd answer your questions. What do you want to know?
So you can ask him, as you can see, about everything. The Normandy crew is not really going to have any info about them, but we'll go ahead and ask about Miranda and Jacob first.
When I first woke up, someone named Miranda was talking to me over the radio. We lost contact just before I ran into you.
Miranda Lawson is the station's ranking officer. She led the Lazarus team. It was her job to bring you back to life, no matter what. Should have guessed she'd try to save you. She's not about to give up on you now. You said you lost contact. Could you tell what was happening?
It didn't sound good.
There was some gunfire and an explosion right before I lost her.
She knows how to take care of herself. But I hope she's okay.
I don't think he really says anything new about the injuries.
You said they spent 2 years rebuilding me? How bad were my injuries?
I'm no doctor, but it was bad. When I first saw you, you were nothing but meat and tubes. Anywhere else, they'd have put you in a coffin. But Project Lazarus was different. Cutting-edge technology.
Cutting-edge technology?
What do you mean? Cloning? Cybernetics?
I don't know the details. You'd have to ask the scientists. But I'm pretty sure you're not a clone. They wanted to bring you back exactly as you were. You're still you. You just might have a few extra bits and pieces now.
Project Lazarus?
What can you tell me about the project? Were there other test subjects?
Project Lazarus only had one subject. The whole point was to bring you back. Just you. Even that was a challenge. 2 years. All the top scientists. The best technology money could buy.
What about the attack on the station?
Do you know anything about this attack? Who's behind it? What they're after?
Damned if I know. I was getting ready for some shut-eye, then bam! Bunch of explosions. Next thing I know, every damn mech in the place starts shooting at us. I'm guessing it had to be an inside job. You'd need top security access to hack all the mechs.
And we're not going to investigate anymore because we can ask about Jacob later on once we get everything else progressed.
What's the quickest way to those shuttles?
Depends where the mechs are thickest. It's probably best if we...
Check. Anyone on this frequency? Anybody still alive out there? Hello?
Wilson, this is Jacob. I'm here with Commander Shepard. Just took out a wave of mechs over in D-Wing.
Shepard's alive? How the hell? Never mind. You need to get him out of there. Get to the service tunnels and head for the network control room.
Roger that, Wilson. Stay on this frequency.
Let's go.
Let's get out of here.
You bet. We can get into the service tunnels through this door.
And so then if you ask who was that, he'll just say Wilson, one of the guys.
The Lazarus project is about to enter the final phase. It's taken nearly 2 years, but we did it. Commander Shepard is alive. This is the most amazing medical achievement in recorded history. Maybe now Miranda will finally show some appreciation for everything I've done.
So we're gonna just keep them moving.
Activating.
Damn it, Wilson. This room is crawling with mechs.
The whole station is crawling with mechs. I'm doing the best I can.
Hostile forces have engaged.
Wilson, find us another route.
Oh, God. They found me. Help!
Wilson, where are you?
Server room B! Hurry! They're out of control!
So you can come over here, and this is another little log from
Physical
Miranda.
reconstruction of subject is complete, but we still need to evaluate all mental and neurological functions. Our orders were clear. Make Commander Shepard who he was before the explosion. The same mind, the same morals, the same personality. If we alter his identity in any way, if he's somehow not the man he used to be, the Lazarus project will have failed. I refuse to let that happen.
So pretty interesting stuff if you actually take the time to listen to it.
Shepard, down here!
And here's Wilson, who we will recognize from that opening cutscene.
Bastards got me in the leg!
I remember you, Wilson.
You were there the first time I regained consciousness.
Yeah,
That was me. How about we talk about this after we fix my leg?
Should be some Metagel in the first aid station on the wall. Hopefully there's enough to get him up and moving again.
Grab the Metagel from the first aid station on the wall.
So, unlike in the last game, in this game and all future games,
he needs help.
The Unity ability will actually cost you a Metagel, and if you don't use Metagel, it will actually give you 50 experience in ME3, I believe, and then in this one, it just gives you 100 credits. But so you can just go right there.
Thanks, Shepard. Never thought you'd save my life. Guess that makes us even now, hmm? I thought maybe I could shut down the security mechs, but whoever did this fried the whole system. Completely irreversible.
We didn't ask what you were doing. Why do you even have security mech clearance? You were in the bio wing.
Weren't you listening? I came here to try and fix this. Besides, I was shot. How do you explain that?
I don't trust any of you yet.
You're all strangers to me. Let's get someplace safe, then we'll sort out whose fault it is.
Right, Shepard. We need to find Miranda. We can't leave her behind.
Forget about Miranda. She was over in D-Wing. The mechs were all over that sector. There's no way she survived.
A bunch of mechs won't drop Miranda. She's alive.
Then where is she? Why haven't we heard from her? There are only two possible explanations. She's either dead, or she's a traitor.
But she tried to help me.
Then why did you wake me up and warn me about the attack?
Okay, maybe she's not a traitor, but that doesn't change the facts. We're here, she's not. We need to save ourselves. The shuttle bay is only a few... an overlook.
So you can go and anytime there's something you can like destroy or that you can shoot to, you know, make explode, there'll always be one of these little tiny orange boxes there. You just have to make sure that your crosshairs are red. And you can just do overload there, and bam.
That's it. Let's
get
out of here.
All done. Now...
Okay, we took him down, but this is getting tense. Shepard, if I tell you who we work for, will you trust me?
This really isn't the time, Jacob.
We won't make it if he's expecting a shot in the back.
If you want to piss off the boss, it's your ass, Jacob.
The Lazarus Project, the program that rebuilt you. It's funded and controlled by Cerberus.
So you can play dumb, which really would probably be like the smart thing if you're kind of trying to like roleplay and stuff like that, is pretend like you have no knowledge of it, since you don't know, you know, what all is going on, and these guys seem to be in a position where they want to get you off the station. But, you know, I'm more of a lay all my cards on the table kind of guy, so we're just gonna say that sounds familiar.
I think I ran into Cerberus a few times while I was investigating Saren. Some kind of pro-human splinter group, right?
Well, that's what the Alliance wants people to believe. But there's more to it. The Alliance declared you dead. They gave up. Cerberus spent a fortune to bring you back. Look, I'd be suspicious too. But right now we have to work together. I thought you deserved to know what's what. Once we're off the station, I'll take you to the elusive man. He'll explain everything. I promise.
And you can say fine, I'll never work for Cerberus, or fine, let's go, ask who the elusive man is, and that sort of stuff, but they're not really going to be able to tell you anything.
I don't care what they did or what you say. I'm not working with terrorists.
You can tell it to the boss, but after we've saved our butts. We're almost at the shuttle.
And so it's one of the things where it's like, you appreciate Jacob's integrity for going and actually like telling you and giving you the information, but at the same time you're like, well, I remember what Cerberus was doing 2 years ago, so unless you guys just 180'd on everything, I don't really know that I want to be working with y'all.
They've seen us.
So you can kind of just do this as like the tactical pause, basically. Whenever you want. As you can see that we do go down pretty quick there. And the other thing is that obviously you see that our overload is not, you know, max level or anything like that. It's just a very basic overload. So it's only going to deal about half health bar on these mechs. So you will still have to shoot them when you go and overload them. And then, you know, to bring up your minimap now, it's not constantly on. You just see it whenever you do your little tactical pause here. And then you can be right here close to it. And then there will be more maps over here. Boom. Reload us again. We know there's still one here. Good, just overload since we're at ammo now. Bam. And so, like I was saying, you can really do a lot of min-maxing over there on the powers and whatnot. So, there you go. And then over here we have another personal log for Miranda.
Test subject has been recovered, but the damage is far worse than we initially feared. In addition to the expected burns and internal injuries from the explosion, subject has suffered significant cellular breakdown due to long-term exposure to vacuum and sub-zero temperatures. Despite the extent of the physical trauma, Wilson assures me subject is salvageable. The Lazarus project will proceed as planned.
Then anytime you see data pads and stuff like that, it'll in ME2 it's going to be for either credits, weapons upgrades, power upgrades, stuff like that. And they also introduced the mini games here where you have either hacking or you have the bypass where you're just finding the matching nodes and stuff like that. So you just kind of hover over it and you're like, hey, finding the ones that match. And you see the little countdown there in the top and the countdown of the circles there for that one. And then it will tell you the credits at the top right of the safe as you are hacking it. Let's see. I want to say that you should be able to get to 3 meta gel again. But it's all good. We can't go back. And so over there is the shuttles. Same thing as before where you can only sprint for, you know, a short amount of time. There's just no bar now. You kind of just sprint until you can't. Or you kind of just gotta get, you know, like a natural feel for it. But let's go ahead and open this door.
Come on, through here. We're almost at the... Miranda, but you were...
Dead?
What the hell are you doing?
My job. Wilson betrayed us all.
So, I mean, you can always go with the cool customer option there and just be like, hey, alright, what are we doing now? Or you can, you know, go and ask questions. I usually go with the now you can't question him thing. Or the that's your idea.
Even if
process.
you're sure, did he deserve that welcome?
He sabotaged the security systems, killed my staff, and he would have killed us.
You sure about that, Miranda? We've known Wilson for years. What if you're wrong?
I'm never wrong. I thought you'd have learnt that by now, Jacob.
No. No, you can't question him.
You should have taken him alive. See what he knew.
Too risky. I've put too much time and effort bringing you back to life to let you get killed now.
You really think Wilson's capable of that?
Not anymore.
Very true statement, but alright, what happens now?
If you say so. What's our next step?
We get on the shuttle and go. My boss wants to speak to you.
You mean the elusive man? I know you work for Cerberus.
Ah, Jacob. I should have known your conscience would get the better of you.
Lying to the commander isn't the way to get him to join our cause.
Well, since we're getting everything out in the open, is there anything else you want to ask before we go, Commander?
Then you can go and investigate. You can ask her about her location in the attack, but it's kind of just like redundant. She's gonna say anybody who's not here isn't making it for other survivors. So I usually just ask about, you know, the destination of the Lazarus
Where
project.
are we going?
Another Cerberus facility. The elusive man is waiting for you there.
'Cause
Another Cerberus facility. The elusive man is waiting for you there. 'Cause Another Cerberus facility. The elusive man is waiting for you there. 'Cause Another Cerberus facility. The elusive man is waiting for you there.
And if I don't come along?
I'm not sure I trust you.
This is the only shuttle off the station. You want to stay and rot with the mechs? Be my guest.
Tell me about the Lazarus Project.
You're the Lazarus Project's director, aren't you?
That's right. I put 2 years of my life into this project. Into you.
Why?
What does Cerberus want from me?
Maybe you should ask the elusive man when you meet him. He poured virtually unlimited resources into Lazarus. Obviously, he has some kind of plan for you.
Let's get out of here.
I've had enough of this station to last a lifetime.
Or 2, in your case. Come on.
It's funny how they act like Miranda doesn't know, the reason the elusive man wanted to spend so much money on you, but really she does. So I like to think of it as her trying to hide the true intentions and what
Before
their true
you meet with
plans
the
for
elusive
everything
man,
is,
we need to ask a few questions to evaluate your condition.
Come on, Miranda, more tests? Shepard took down those mechs without any trouble. That has to be good enough.
It's been 2 years since the attack. The elusive man needs to know that Shepard's personality and memories are intact. Ask the questions.
2 years?
Did you say 2 years? I've been gone that long?
2 years and 12 days. And you were on an operating table for most of it.
The sooner we start, the sooner we can be done. Start with personal history.
Okay. Records show you were a spacer kid, raised mostly on one ship or another. You enlisted and won a medal fighting Batarians during the Skillian Blitz. Do you remember that?
I had no choice.
A lot of lives depended on me holding that position. I did what I had to.
However you want to put it, it was damn impressive. I had friends who were there. Satisfied, Miranda?
Almost. Let's try something more recent. Vermeer, where you destroyed Saren's cloning facility. You had to leave one of your squad behind to die in the blast.
Lieutenant Caden Alenko was killed in action. It was your call. Why did you leave him behind?
It was a hard choice.
I left a friend to die that day, and I didn't do it casually. But I had to save as many people as I could. Caden gave his life for the rest of the team. Without him, I couldn't have stopped Saren. He died a hero.
I understand, Commander, and I wasn't judging your decision. Everybody at Cerberus knows that cloning facility had to be destroyed.
There are other tests we really should run.
Come on, Miranda. Enough with the quizzes. The memories are there, and I can vouch for Shepard's combat skills personally.
I suppose you're right. We'll have to hope the elusive man accepts our little field test as evidence enough.
But alright,
The
guys.
elusive man is waiting for you in the other room.
We escaped the Lazarus Project station, and that is where we're going to go ahead and end the episode for today. We'll get back into it in the next one with talking to the elusive man. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.